All right, guys. So I want to dig into this a little bit. This whole Tina Peters thing that not very many people are talking about. You don't hear Benny Johnson speaking about it. You don't hear. I don't. Nobody. Nobody's. Tina Peters, a true patriot, put herself in the line of fire when it came to lawfare. And I don't know if you remember or not, but if anybody's watching this channel, and maybe some of the people that are watching this channel for watching it from the beginning when I started this, because we had an issue in 2020 where our election just didn't, something did not seem right. And I'm using careful wording just because of the fact that still to this day, certain content creators can get by saying certain things and certain ones can't. And that YouTube has always had it out for me on this channel because they don't want me to become anything bigger than what I am right now. It's an alarming thing. I watch a bunch of milquetoast content creators that talk about stupid stuff all the time that don't really have anything to do with the reality of the situation we're in. Get gazillions of views. I won't name any names, but that's good. You're doing good. You're making money. Good. But I've never forgotten about why this channel even exists. And you'll hear me talk about a lot of things. You know, I dig into the geological engineering and what the CIA did with buildings, putting in CIA or DARPA, a lot of, what they did with buildings and installing nozzles that would spray bacteria just to see what it would do to people. And if you don't believe me, they can actually look this up. This is in Wikipedia, and this all started in the 1950s with Operation Sea Spray. Nobody talks about that except except for Alex Jones and me. Anyhow, Tina Peters, she put herself out there exponentially when it came to archiving what had happened in 2020 with how they facilitated one of the most egregious and obvious hijacks of our elections, and this happened in 2020. In my opinion, I think that there's a possibility that they've been doing this for a lot longer than 2020. And I don't know what exactly happened this time around. I do know that it seemed something fishy when Matt and I did a long live stream when they were counting all the votes in 2024. There was instances in certain key battleground states where they tried to stop the counting, and they seen trucks coming in, and Laura Trump was working at the time, head of the RNC, got rid of that stupid Ronna McDaniel, and was able to litigate what was going on there. They tried to stop people casting their day of votes. They tried to move people out of lines to let illegals vote. This happened in 2024. There was a large effort to recreate what happened in 2020. Anyways, back to Tina Peters. She is currently incarcerated because what she did, according to the people, was she archived the actual information that was supposedly accidentally erased by a group of people who were going in there to update the machines. And all I can say is it's absolutely atrocious to the fact that they said that she was doing something wrong. Now, granted, the fact was she's not a computer tech person. So she had to actually find a group of guys, or somebody that had the technology to be able to do what they needed to do. And let me show you real quick what happened here. I'm kind of rolling through this all at once. I went to screen out, and I said, well, my stuff is gone. So let me get this back here. I'm gonna read to you. Tina Peters sends out a heartfelt letter. So we do know that there was a sheriff that was pardoned in that area. Tina Peters' Memorial Day message to Trump. Let's see here.
Just press 1 to refuse. Thank you for using Securus.
Dear President Trump, when I first met you, the first week in May 2022, you told me, quote, when this is all over, you will be a hero. Then you added, quote, you are a hero. Today I write from prison. On Memorial Day 2025, with great sadness, not because I'm in prison, but because my Navy SEAL son died defending this country. He was 3 weeks from going back to Iraq with SEAL Team 3 after serving 9 long years, starting in 2008 when Obama was elected. He hated the fact that that administration mandated that his team train the enemy. He loved what he did on the team, but hated that president would not let them be effective against the enemy. He loved to base jump, wingsuit, and taught many of the guys to do so. Remington Jordan Peters, October 30th, 1989 to May 28th, 2017, died as part of the Navy Leapfrog team that he served for 2 years. What most people do not know is that in addition to his duties as SEAL, he trained and worked with other SEALs and Army Rangers to go after human traffickers. Even though his double parachute failure on Memorial Day was officially labeled an accident, many know otherwise. Remington had over 900 jumps as an expert paratrooper and was an expert at everything he did. In BUDS, during his SEAL team training, he was voted by his peers as honor man and given a one-of-a-kind engraved with the Navy SEAL Trident rifle, which if I'm considered a felon, I will not be able to keep. Prison is very difficult for me because me and my family have always treasured liberty so much. My husband of 35 years after me exposing the biggest scandal of election fraud was taken from me illegally and died as a result. He had served in Vietnam as a Marine and was in a nursing home and moved out of my care. The evil these criminals have done to me and my country grieves me so. The upcoming midterm elections are always on my mind. We have to save Colorado as well as our elections. They thought by falsely accusing me and throwing me in jail and prison would finally silence me. But all that I've experienced as a lung cancer survivor, facing death, the excruciating, painful death of my son Remington, and the unrelenting harassment, persecution, and taking my husband and facilitating his death has all deepened my resolve to continue the fight. When I met you in 2022, I was running for Secretary of State in Colorado against Jenna Griswold, the Obama protege, and his former election attorney in D.C. I've raised more money in the 4 months after I announced on our friend Steve Bannon's show February 14th, 2022, than all my Republican opponents combined. At 47% in a three-way race, with even the corrupt press acknowledging I won, I came in close to last. We, the cyber experts, some of who had authored the Mesa County Reports 1, 2, and 3, saw them change votes in real time. I raised the $255,000 to pay for a recount. Jenna Griswold and Dominion Voting Systems violated law in instructing election clerks to use images instead of voter-verified paper ballots that the statute required. As we know from what I've uncovered, the images are changed by manipulating illegal software in the voting machines. The reports are on my website, tinapeters.us. Prison, Mr. President, is constant and agonizing stress. My mother is 96 years old, and another blow would be for her to die in a year. I need to see that what I've contributed to exposing the theft of our elections is made right for the American people, and I need to be out helping to effect that change. The people responsible for putting me in here on a national level, like Merrick Garland, are done. But Jenna Griswold, the one that deleted 29,000 2020 election records and more, is running for governor. And Phil Weiser, the Attorney General of Colorado, is running. Jenna Griswold is running for Attorney General, and Phil Weiser, that is the Attorney General responsible for putting me in here, is running for governor. Mr. President, I appreciate all you've done, and I know that my request is just a small thing on the many global events that you have to be responsible for and to affect the change. But I ask for God's mercy and direction in how I can be of service, further service to my country, and regain my liberty. Thank you so much, and God bless you. and keep you. Tina Peters.
Just press 1 to
That's if you thank you for sticking watching that. A lot of people's attention span is quite short nowadays, and the thing is nobody's really remembering her, and especially at this point Trump. I mean, like she says, she spoke to him personally, and she was at the cyber symposium with Mike Lindell. I had to think for a second. And her office was illegally raided because they were trying to find the archives that she had because it exposed what was going on. And she specifically mentions Jenna Griswold, who leaked out all of the passwords to the machines that I think affected the machines nationwide. Nothing happened to her. There's been no legal recourse. There's been no reprimandation. Matter of fact, she is stepping up. She's getting ready to be promoted. It's pretty wild how that's working out. Nobody's, it's bad. She needs a pardon. And what she found needs to come to light. And I don't know exactly what in the world Pam Bondi's doing, but she's had multiple criminal referrals laid out on her desk related to the money laundering scheme that's been going on with U.S. aid, right back to a lot of the Democrats and the Democrat Party that's facilitated their lawfare machine. And, she boasts about drug raids and different things. Good. But that's been going on anyways. Nothing's new there. We're not getting the bang for the buck here. We watched Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, two people that I liked and worked hard to try to get in their position, sit on their thumbs and say that Jeffrey Epstein, we all know the details behind that. Something's not right at all when they spoke out about that and said there's nothing to see here. Same thing with Thomas Crooks. Albeit he was supposedly the lone gunman, the effort that it took to get Feller in his position, Thomas Crooks, was not a one-man show. There were a lot of key players in that stand down, much like what happened in that whole Israel thing with Netanyahu and the all the people that were massacred because there was a strategic stand down that took multiple players to enact. Because because of the compartmentalization, there never should have been a situation like that occurred with Trump or the Israel thing, which I'm not pulling for either side of that, by the way, just to let you know. I don't support either side. I don't care anything about Israel, the Mohammeds, the Flammas, the Ding Dongas. I don't care about any of that. I'm worried about the United States. I know there's a lot of people who say there's a lot more to the story than meets the eye. Well, good. Good. And the fact that we've got ourselves entangled in such a big mess when it comes to global affairs that we're tied to this crap just pisses me off even more. And regardless of how you feel about it, I feel like we need to be worried about what's happening on our country because we're in the precipice of an infiltration of multiple countries that is dangerous to the founding building blocks of this country. And so, you can get mad at me for saying, you don't support Israel, you don't support the Mohammeds and the sand. I don't care about none of those people. They all screw us anyways. Israel's not our ally. Name one thing Israel's done for us all the years that we've been pulling for them. Name one thing. I want somebody in the comment section to do that. Somebody's mad at me for saying that. Yeah. They get an Iron Dome. We get a whole bunch of drones flew over us by our own government. See what happens. Anyways, back to the whole thing. Trump's forgotten about Tina Peters. I don't see why this can't be a thing. That, she didn't do anything wrong. Nothing happened. Nothing. They won 2020. The Democrats won 2020. What are they mad about? Oh, she compromised the integrity of those machines and they had to replace them. What happened with Jenna Griswold? Huh? Anybody? Lefties watching this thing and hating what I'm doing? Nothing? Leaked all those passwords out? Whoopsie. That was an accident, wasn't it? I don't know, guys. So anyways, we don't need to forget about Tina Peters. We definitely don't need to forget about her. Thank you for watching this super long video. And if you could, get on the tweets of the Twitters that doesn't work anymore and tweet the White House, call the peoples, get on the phone, make something happen. She's a great person. She has 0 criminal records. Meanwhile, that chick who was involved in that Rust shooting, she's out. She's running around. That Baldwin guy never got charged with anything. Botched criminal. Oh, by the way, the whole court thing for Tina Peters was botched. That was a strategic failure in our courts. She wasn't even allowed to bring exculpatory evidence to show her innocence, to show why she did what she did. Part of her job was to do what she did. This is what she was hired to do. Did her job and is in trouble for it. So, yeah, I'm kind of uber pissed about that. All right, guys, I'm out.